We're going to talk some marketing, talk about getting you guys booked on some stages, and more importantly, I want to tell you guys about Betsy. In case you don't know who she is, I'm going to talk about her and what she did in terms of her first $30K month as a speaker. $30,000 in a month as a speaker. I'm going to show you exactly what she did, how she accomplished the whole shebang, the whole shadoodle. So that's what we're going to talk about today. If you guys get your marketing right, then you'll be able to do the same thing. It's just a matter of knowing what to do and doing the right things. That's all you really got to do. So let's wait a second for people to hop on. What's up, Maggie? I see, Maggie, you're always like the first to hop on. Nice. Cool. So let's wait a few seconds. And once again, I'm going to go over what Betsy did to hit $30,000 in a month as a speaker. Most speakers just have a problem marketing themselves, getting on stages because, well, I don't really know why. They're just not doing the right things, to be honest. I don't know what they're doing, whether they're trying to write a book, trying to become famous, or whatever it is they're trying to do. But I'm going to show you the real way to actually get booked as a speaker. That's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to show you the whole process. If you have any questions, make sure you ask the questions. It's best to ask the questions live because if you email me the questions, I may forget. Like I may write it down or something. I may forget though on the live feed. So if you have any questions, make sure you ask. But once again, we're going to go over the process that Betsy used to basically make $30,000 in a month. And if you guys didn't get the email, make sure you go back, take a look at that screenshot. Actually, I'll go on the site and I'll show you guys a screenshot as well so you can actually see exactly what she said. But when it comes down to actually getting booked on stage, it's really just a matter of doing the right things and doing those things right. That's all it comes down to. It's like mastering anything to where you simply learn the basics, you learn the fundamentals, and then you master it by repeating it over and over and over again. It's like, what do they say? There's the different levels, the unconscious, this is where you don't know what you don't know. Then there's the the conscious unconscious, where you don't know something. And then there's the conscious, where you're aware of something, you're kind of doing it. And then you get to the unconscious conscious. I probably screwed that whole thing up, but basically you master it to a point where you don't even have to think about it anymore. You just naturally do it. That's where you ultimately want to get to where you naturally do things, right? And literally you don't think about it. You're just naturally doing it the right way. And that's the level of mastery that you want to reach. So that's what we're going to talk about today. How do you get booked consistently? If you guys have any questions, make sure you ask the questions right here inside the live. Yesterday, someone asked about how do you pitch colleges. So if I remember that, I'll make sure to answer that as well. But once again, what's up, Ashley? All the other people, I can't see who else joined actually for some reason. All right, so let's get into it. Let me show you guys what I sent out today. So I sent, let's see, where is it? There we go. So here, I sent this out today. So I sent you guys a screenshot where she said, hey, last year, prior to being in this program, I made $30K for the entire year of speaking. This year, after applying the prospecting tips, I just hit my first $30,000 in a month as a speaker. Knowledge only has power if you know how to apply it. That's what I want to talk about today. What did she do to hit $30,000 in a month? She went from $30,000 last year from speaking to doing $30,000 in a month. So what did she do? And that's what I want to talk about. I also want to mention real quick, notice that she said, where was it? She said, all right, so last year I made $30,000 for the entire year. This year after applying this, knowledge has power. Yeah, she said, so knowledge only has power if you know how to apply it. So I just talked about that just a second ago, where she said knowledge only has power if you know how to apply it. This is one of the things where, once again, I don't mind sharing so much because it's not about what you know, it's about what you do. And it's about what you do and how you do it, how you apply that information. I've shown people over and over and over again the whole pipeline. I've shown people that stuff. I tell people, set this up inside of your CRM. And I guarantee you, very few people who are not in the Speak Pro Academy have set up a CRM in that way. I guarantee you, very few people have bought a CRM and set up their pipeline in that CRM, despite me saying it over and over and over again, telling people, here's the pipeline you set up. And it's because, once again, it's not about what you know, it's about what it is you're doing, what it is you're implementing. What's up, Clarence? What up, Dan? Nitro. All right, what up? All right, so, yeah, once again, like, I want to stress that to where Like, sure, she mentioned how much she made in a month as a speaker, but notice the bottom part where she said knowledge only has power if you know how to apply it. If you guys have been watching me for however long, you constantly hear me talk about the pipeline where it's incoming questions, quote, contract closed. You constantly hear me talk about that. And then before that, there's where you find the events and then you send out email number 1, email number 2. You hear me talk about that all the time. I show it in Event Finder. I show you the picture. You got to ask yourself, have you set that up? Like, did you actually set that up yet? If you're not in the Speak Pro Academy, then did you set that up? For all you Speak Pro members, I'm assuming most of you guys already set that up. If you didn't, make sure you set it up. But you got to ask yourself, at what point are you going to take the information and do something with it? If all you do is watch a video to motivate yourself, it's literally pointless. Of course you feel good about yourself. You're like, yeah, I'm watching a video. Feels good. Oh yeah, hoorah. I mean, you feel good, but it doesn't matter how good you feel. The only thing that matters is what are you doing? And this is one of the things where you keep hearing this over and over and over again, but I see the difference between the people who actually accomplish things. Like Maggie's a perfect example, actually. Maggie, when she joined the program, I'm telling you, I haven't seen anyone implement as fast as Maggie did. Like literally Maggie just bam, just quick as all hell, right? And so it actually, for some reason, women in the program tend to implement a lot faster than the men. And I found this just to be true in general. And even the shark, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, he actually talked about it. He was like, if I could, I would only invest in businesses with female entrepreneurs because female entrepreneurs always seem to do better. And I've noticed that as well in the program, which is kind of funny. And I don't know what it is about female entrepreneurs. They literally just, I don't know if they pay attention more, if they implement, I don't know what it is, but female entrepreneurs tend to do better. That's why I also want to talk about Betsy today in terms of like how she implemented, and we're going to go through the whole process. But once again, it does come down to the implementation. It comes down to you knowing, all right, here's what I need to do. Let me get it done right now. Yesterday, I talked about Kobe. I was talking about Kobe and how Kobe, he would sit there and he would say, all right, I will watch film and I'd see like a move that I like or something. I'd watch the film and I would immediately go practice it. You need to decrease the amount of time from knowing what to do to doing what you know. Decrease that amount of time. It's all about speed of implementation. The second you know you should buy a CRM, go buy one. So if you don't have a CRM today, go buy one today. Just buy one. Even if you buy the wrong one, well, you can't really buy the wrong CRM. They're all practically the same. But even if you buy one and eventually switch, that's at least better than you not doing anything. You want to get into the habit of hearing something and then doing it immediately. So I'm telling you, if you don't have a CRM, go buy a CRM, go in there and set up your pipeline where it says incoming questions, quote, contract closed. Set that up. All you do is you go into the settings of your pipeline in the CRM and you just type in the words. Type in incoming, type in questions, type in contract, type in closed. All right. Or type in questions, quote, contract closed. So it's all about that. Okay. So I'm going to show you what Betsy did, the whole process, that she did. I do also want to mention that in terms of how long it's going to take you to accomplish what you want. I don't think people realize how long it's going to take them. And I don't know whether or not to blame gurus and the advice or to just blame human nature in general. I almost want to blame human nature because a combination of human nature and gurus, because when you look at programs online, what they always tell you is in 60 days you can build your following, in 60 days you can do this, in 60 days you can do that. That's just not how it works. I'm telling you, you got to think in terms of years, not 60 days, not a month, not 2 months. Think in terms of years. And when you start to think this way, you realize I got to speed up. I got to go faster. You're going too slow right now. You got to go faster with what it is you're trying to do and what it is you're trying to accomplish. So you have to understand that it's going to take you years. No matter, the only way to go from 10 years to 5 years is to literally get a mentor. That is literally the only way to speed things up. guarantee, hands down, the only way. But once again, if you guys didn't see this in terms of what I sent out today, I sent out this thing about Betsy where she said, all right, basically she made $30,000 for the entire year of speaking last year. And then now she just hit her first $30,000 month as a speaker. Now let's talk about what did she do to do that. The first thing I always tell people to do, so let me actually go into, let's go in here. I'll show you the actual process, the steps that I tell everyone to take. So it's first you're essentially setting up your website to begin with. And even though I have this as step 2, setting up your systems, I should probably just flip that around. In terms of the website should be step 2 and this should be step 3. It doesn't actually matter which one you do first, to be honest. But I always tell people the website first. So that's the first thing that Betsy did. Let's take a look at her website. So when we first go to the website, let's refresh this. Let's take a look at her website. When we first go to her website, this is what we now see. In the beginning, it was a little bit different, but now she's updated the site. So let's see. All right. So the video's playing and then instantly, look, you see her on the TED stage. You see it's interactive. You see, oh, she's having a good time. She's laughing. Cool. So instantly, without scrolling down, you know Betsy's a rock star. You see the crowd here just with this video. You're like, okay, cool. This speaker seems like a pretty engaging speaker, a type of speaker that we want to bring into our event. Just a natural speaker, right? So first thing that you're going to do, first thing she did was her website. And then also notice the words here. Notice how she says motivational leadership speaker. All right. I think in the beginning it was just, I think Betsy just had human behavior expert. And I told her no, just also put you're a motivational speaker. Because once again, you'll hear me talk about this all the time where speakers always want to describe themselves in ways that people don't Google. You want to think about what do people Google? What do people search for? That's how I'm going to describe myself. Are you going to say I'm a leadership speaker? Are you going to say I'm a motivational speaker, an inspirational speaker, sales speaker? What do people search for on Google? That's how you describe yourself on your website. If you're describing yourself in any other way, you're simply confusing the hell out of people, right? So that's the first thing that we did with Betsy. We focused on her website and literally just look at her site, right? If you just scroll, you can just see, okay, she's obviously a rock star, right? So you can just scroll and just kind of look and see, all right, look at all these, the logos right there, these logos here. You just naturally see she's a rock star. You don't even have to read anything just yet. You just naturally see, all right, looks nice pictures. Bam, there's the crowd there. So instantly she's got a good website. And when you click around, let's go to the about page real quick. Let's let this thing load. So once again, the about page, there's the picture of her, the cool background to the picture. And I want you guys to notice the pictures as well. So these pictures are, by the way, they're from the Speak Pro Academy. So notice these pictures in the background. These pictures, you'll see the crowds. And this is something that you guys can easily do. You guys can easily take this and then just put your picture on top of it the same way Betsy did. Just bam. And then instantly she has a really nice looking picture. And so once again, we focused on the image of Betsy to begin with. So it always comes down to that website to begin with. First thing, hands down, you got to build the website. In fact, if you guys have a website, make sure you post it. All you Speak Pro members, I mean, we can take a look at your websites inside the Speak Pro group. So for all you non-Speak Pro members, you can post a link to your website and I'll take a look real quick. But first thing that you do is you focus on the website. The website, what you're doing on your website is you're basically showing people how cool it's going to be when you're at that event. And that's what I like about her video here, the header video. So the header, it's just real quick. And notice she's demonstrating the reactions. She's showing the reactions of her at the event. And then also the crowd, that's just social proof there. But let's let this thing start from the beginning. Where's the beginning part? It's going to come up right here. So this is the beginning part when you first go. Bam, that was just half a second. Now she's on TED, so instantly social proof. Bam, interaction right there. Bam, look at this lady's reaction. Oh, that's fun. Okay, cool. Bam, this is the only semi-normal one right there. This is the crowd one where there's a crowd that's social proof. Look at that. She's high energy right there. She's not a boring speaker. You can tell by looking at this, what is it, maybe 15 seconds or something, you can tell within 15 seconds that Betsy is a rock star speaker just by looking at that video. You don't have to scroll anywhere. It's just like, oh, okay, great speaker. That's what your website does. That's the purpose of the website, is to literally demonstrate the experience of hiring you. You're not on your website, or you're not posting stuff on your website about your content and all that. Of course, your content is going to be there, but you're not emphasizing the content. When you emphasize the content and when you emphasize your topics, what you're doing is you're taking you out of the equation. Literally. You're literally saying, focus on the topic. My topic is body language, all right? A body language expert. And here's how you do body language stuff. And when a person's arms are folded, they're mean or they're mad or whatever. They're disengaged. And you're focusing on everything but you. But people hire you. People are paying for you. It is why people pay, I don't know what he charged, like 160 grand, 170 grand for Gary Vaynerchuk. It's why people pay that much, because they're paying for him. They're not paying for what he talks about. And the same goes with Tony Robbins, $1 million. People pay for him, not what he talks about. So that's the first thing that you have to do with your website. Any questions before I move on? But that's the first thing that we did with Betsy was the website. And I'll wait a few seconds if there's any questions in terms of any questions, right? So first things first, the website. I do want to also emphasize that she put in the work. Most people just don't put in the work. Like I said, there's always the information, then they just don't implement. She put in the work. She was like, okay, I need a great website. He says, I got to have a great website. Makes sense, okay? So let me actually create a great website. You have to put in the work. And once again, I talked about this yesterday in yesterday's video with Kobe doing the work and all that sort of stuff. You got to put in the work. And usually when you're doing the work, it's things that you hate doing. It's things you don't like to do. You hate the technology. You hate building websites, but you got to do it. Either you hire somebody or you do it yourself. And if you hire somebody, they have to be really good at it. Otherwise, you're just wasting your money. I can't tell you how many times people have told me, like, I hired a website designer and I look at the website and I say, no, it's still not good. Get rid of your guy and then either hire somebody else or do it yourself. It's just because it comes down to either you're doing the work or you pay someone else to do the work. Those are the only options that you really have. All right. So first things first is we got the website up. Next thing was the sales process. The sales process, once again, I've mentioned this several times. Let me show you the sales process. Let's go here. Where's the sales process? Let's go into this program here. And if you guys don't have the sales process set up, make sure you do. This is the sales process from start to finish. I've shown you this picture a gazillion times. The sales process is literally this. So you're literally prospecting for the events. You're finding events. You're going through the qualifying process by sending the emails out. You're sending out emails, or you can call if you want. And then it goes incoming, questions, quote, contract, closed. You have a sales process in place. The sales process is just so you have an idea of where you're going. It's so you follow it step by step every single time, no matter what. I was even talking with somebody yesterday, and she wants to build like her brand, right? So we're talking about building the brand, and she was like, okay, what's the next step? I got this thing done. What's the next step? So I sent her the overall picture of the sales process. I said, here's the sales process that you want to build out. And once you have the overall sales process, it just comes down to execution. It comes down to you understand the basics, you understand the fundamentals. Now I got to get good at it. I got to get great at it, and then I master it. That's what you have to do. So it's all about the sales process. Then it comes down to, like I said, the details. So let's see here. So the details of this. Let's say, for example, you find events. Well, how do you find events? How exactly do you find events? You got to learn the details of finding the events. Then once you find the events, what do you do after that? Then you contact the events. Now you got to learn the details of how to contact the events. Well, what if they don't respond when you contact them? Now you got to learn the details of how to follow up. and you got to learn all the details. What if you're down here, you ask the event questions and then they don't respond to you? Or what if you sent a contract and they don't actually send the contract back? Or you quote them and then they don't respond to your quote. You say it's going to be $10,000 and then they just ghost you. They just ignore you at that point. Do you know how to follow up the right way? Now it just comes down to details. To all you Speak Pro Academy members, make sure you're posting your conversations inside the group, because that's where we actually do the magic. That's where the magic happens. It's in the details. Especially like how you guys are posting your numbers, like Alex, all you guys, how you're posting your numbers. Make sure you actually post the conversation so we can go over the detailed conversations in terms of here's what you say, here's what you don't say, all that sort of stuff. It always comes down to the details at that moment. All right, so let's see. So we got that. What else did I want to mention? Okay. So the other thing I wanted to mention is if you guys look at, let me go here. So if you guys look at Betsy, so like if you follow her on Facebook, Instagram, or anything, you'll notice that she's always learning. All right. She's always learning. This is something that you hear all the time with people in terms of learning, but she learns and then implements immediately. Let's see, where's her Instagram? Let's see her Instagram. So like if you actually follow her Instagram, you'll see that she's like literally always learning and everything in terms of learning from everybody, anyone and everybody. That's the mindset that you have to have in terms of just the learning. This is also one of the things that I don't think I talked about it yesterday in terms of the Kobe book, but I mean, he mentioned it in the book all the time. He's like, it was just a matter of learning. And you'll hear this all the time with super successful people. They tend to ask a lot of questions. And the reason for that is because you just want information out of their brain into your brain so you can learn to implement whatever it is you need to implement. Super successful people tend to learn as much as they possibly can. And once again, it just comes down to, I know what I know. I just need to know what you know. Learning will literally take your business to a whole new level. If you're not learning it, what is that saying? The more you learn, the more you earn. And it's absolutely true, because you have more knowledge to pull from than other people. So when you know how to do prospecting, how to do outreach, and you know how to do inbound, you know how to do all this stuff, you have more knowledge to pull from than other people. So instead of that, if you only have a hammer, you treat everything like a nail or something like that, whatever that saying is. But those are people who don't have a lot of information. They don't have a lot of knowledge in their brain. They just have a hammer, and everything they see is a nail to them. They're just bam. They just do the same thing over and over. Bam, bam, bam. Whereas if you have more knowledge, then you know, okay, maybe I'm not going to use a hammer. Maybe I'm going to use a Phillips screwdriver. You know what? Maybe I'm going to use a flathead this time. You know what? Maybe I'm going to use, and so that's what happens with the knowledge. That's why you have to always learn more, whether you're reading, whether you buy programs, mentors, whatever it is. That's the purpose of knowledge. And what is the book called? It was, dang it, I forgot the book. It was something, nope, I can't even get it close. I want to say it was something with Einstein. It wasn't about Einstein, but the name involved Einstein, I think. And it was basically talking about how ideas come to fruition, like how ideas actually happen. And inside the book, it was basically talking about the only way ideas happen is they build up over time, right? So all this knowledge the person has, it's building up, and then poof, they have the epiphany, right? And they have the epiphany because all the knowledge that was inside of their brain, it came together to form this one thing, this one idea. And that's how everything works, to where all the knowledge that you gain, it comes together to form the one idea. Because you want to think of it as, with all the knowledge that's out there, everyone knows all this stuff. Everyone knows about sales funnels, about outreach and all this stuff. But if you know more, then you can combine a sales funnel with outreach. You can combine all this stuff together. And that's the purpose of literally learning. And that's why you will literally see the best of the best. They're constantly learning. Bill Gates, what is it? Bill Gates, like every year he spends, I think, 2 weeks or maybe just a week, where he just goes to a cabin, locks himself up in the cabin, and like no technology, no nothing. He just reads 24/7. Read. Because he knows that new information is going to help him think better. It's going to help you think in a more clear, systematic way. So for example, when speakers come up to me, speakers, entertainers, or anybody, and they say, what do you think about doing Facebook ads? I tell them, no, don't do Facebook ads to get gigs. You simply can't. That's not how it works. And the only reason I know that is just because of all the knowledge that I accumulated over time. I know that you have to apply the right things in the right way. So Facebook ads absolutely, positively do work, but they don't work for getting speaking gigs. So if you're going to post a Facebook ad about hire Jane Doe to get booked as a speaker, and that ad pops up inside the newsfeed, you're going to hands down waste a ton of money, like a ton of freaking money. On the other hand, if you take the same ad and you use it in Google AdWords, well, now you're going to make a ton of money. And so it's just a matter of having the right knowledge, knowing how to apply it in the right way. That's why the best of the best, they're always learning. All right. So that's the other thing about Betsy. She's constantly learning. All right. And then I also want to mention, so I talked about sales process, talked about that. I also want to mention that she focuses on what she gets, not what she spends. If there is a huge difference between people, successful people, and everybody else, all you have to do is listen to how they talk about things. Because the way people talk, it gives you a glimpse into how they think. And so you'll notice that people who aren't successful at anything, people who don't make money, speakers who aren't getting gigs, you'll notice that when they talk about things, they always talk about what this thing costs them. Whereas if you look at all the people, millionaires, multimillionaires, billionaires, successful speakers, if you look at them, you'll see that they think in terms of, here's what I'm going to make. So in the case of Betsy, let's go back here. Show you guys this real quick. Let's let this thing load. So imagine if, wait, hold on. There we go. All right. So imagine if Betsy, so right here, she said, okay, so last year, $30,000 she made last year as a speaker. And then this, or not this month, but in a month, she did $30,000 in a month as a speaker. Imagine if Betsy would have said, you know what, instead of, or if she would have said, you know what, it costs $2,000, that's just too much to actually invest in the program, right? It costs $2,000, too much. She didn't say that. Instead, she said, well, what do I get? What's the possibility that can actually happen? She was focusing on this, the $30,000 in a month. You have to be an idiot to say, you know what, even though if you give me, or if I give you $2,000 and you give me $100,000, like, you know what, we're not going to do that. I'm not going to give you any money, even though you're going to give me a ton of money back, right? That's what most people do. They focus on what they're giving instead of what they're getting. You need to focus on not on what something costs, but what it makes you. Same goes with Dave Davlin. I talk about Dave all the time, where Dave, he went like in a year from praying to God to doing like multiple six figures, almost $250,000. Imagine if Dave would have thought, wow, $2,000, that's a lot of money to spend, instead of thinking, wow, what can actually happen if I get this thing to work? That's what happened. And then, of course, that's why he is where he is. Same with Betsy. If Betsy would have thought, here's how much it costs, she never would have done $30,000 in a month. You can't think about what things cost you. You think about what it makes you. And then you get to a whole new level where it doesn't matter what the thing is. You force it to make you money. It's like imagine a phone, right? A cell phone. Most people see a cell phone, and I can't grab my phone because it's on Instagram right now, but most people see a cell phone in terms of what it costs. So, and I've had this conversation with several people. Like, they're like, wow, you got the iPhone 10? And I got the iPhone 10 when it literally came out. So I don't know, maybe it was $1,200. I don't know how much it costs, but I bought the iPhone 10 and everyone's, damn, that's a lot of money. I mean, you can buy like a car with that, right? And so everyone's like, damn, that costs a lot. I said, no, it doesn't cost me anything. This phone is going to make me 7 figures. It costs me absolutely nothing. And that's the level of thinking that you have to operate in. You You can't just say it, right? A lot of people say that. Anyone can literally say that. Anyone can say, oh yeah, this water bottle, I mean, if you look at the water bottle just right, you can actually make money from it. A lot of people say that, but they don't live it. And I talked about this yesterday, where you have to live the advice, not just say it. When I look at anything, like anything, I always think, how can I make money off this thing? It doesn't matter what it is. It's like, so back in the day when I was performing, one of my favorite tricks was this rubber band trick. I wish I had 2 rubber bands right now. I'd show you. But it was this rubber band trick with 2 rubber bands. Now, with 2 rubber bands, if you take 2 rubber bands and you show it to anybody and you say, what do you see here? 2 rubber bands. People look at me, I just see rubber bands. What I saw was a moneymaker. Those 2 rubber bands got me on TV. Those 2 rubber bands produce a lot of revenue for me in terms of actually performing in the restaurants and performing walk around at cocktail events and everything like that. 2 rubber bands generated a lot of money for me. I didn't see 2 rubber bands. I saw a moneymaker. That's how you need to see everything. Whether you're buying a program, whether you have an object, a phone, a camera, whatever it is, the more you think about what that thing costs you, the less you're going to make any money from it. You always think, what can I do with this thing? How can I use this thing? Use it, abuse it, however, how can I use this thing? And like I said, you'll hear this all the time with people who aren't generating any revenue in their business, is they will always look at an object and they will always comment on how much that thing costs. They're always like, wow, that's a lot of money. They will always do that. And then you look at people who are actually generating revenue, millionaires, multimillionaires, billionaires. They will always look at an object. They'll look at a Ferrari and they'll think, oh, this thing actually made me a lot of money. And actually, speaking of, so I was talking with my friend like a week ago. He actually owns a Ferrari, just bought a Bentley and stuff. And so we were talking about building a brand, right? And to him, so he wasn't like, look, man, this Ferrari costs a lot of money. He literally said, like, yeah, I bought this Ferrari because when we're creating content, people see the Ferrari and then bam, they instantly know I got money, and then they instantly pay more attention to the content. And so the conversation, that's how our conversation was going. He saw the car as a moneymaker. It wasn't something that took money out of his wallet. It was a moneymaker for him. And then he was really good with taxes too, so he figured out how to write it off. He's like brilliant with taxes. He can write anything off. But you got to think in terms of, it's not about what something costs, it's about what it makes you. And I'm telling you, if Betsy, if Dave, if Maggie, if all these people, if they would have thought, Speak Pro Academy costs $2,000, it costs $5,000, oh, if it costs this much, if they would have thought that, they wouldn't have booked another $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 gig, and they wouldn't be where they are, right? Dave wouldn't have the multiple 6 figures that he generated. Bessie wouldn't have the $30,000 in a month that she generated if she thought about what it costs. I want to stress this over and over and over again. It is one of those, the mindsets that will be the most empowering mindset for you ever. You do not look at an object and see the object. You look at an object and see what it can do. You look at an object and see the potential of what it can become if you know how to use that object. To most people who buy a Ferrari, it is an expense. They buy a Ferrari, it's like, all right, so what? You bought a Ferrari. I don't know how much a Ferrari costs. I'm sure it's 6 figures, but it's like you buy a Ferrari. It's like, dang, that's a lot of money to spend. And then they see it as an expense. Whereas my friend, he bought a Ferrari. He saw it as a revenue generating machine. So now every day he's driving in his Ferrari. He has 2 cameras set up in his Ferrari. One's like directly on him. The other one's at the side so he can have multiple angles. So as he's driving to the office, he hits record and then bam, he's talking whatever he wants to talk about in terms of money, whatever it is, building a business, whatever. He's driving. He's getting work done using the Ferrari as a money generating activity. And then bam, he gets to work. He gives that video to the video guy. They edit it. They upload it. Bam. That single drive on the way from his house to his work, to his office, it's like, bam, he generated revenue. So that's how you have to think when it comes to everything you do in terms of generating revenue. All right. Any questions about what it is you guys should be doing? But Oh, and I do want to mention, we're not going to be doing a Facebook Live tomorrow because I've got an event tomorrow. So we're not going to be doing one tomorrow. So we're going to do it Monday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. That's when we start back up. But once again, the process in terms of what Betsy did, in terms of how she was able to go from doing $30,000 a year as a speaker to $30,000 in a month as a speaker, started with her website. Let me go back to her website so you guys can see that. So it started with her website. All right, so first we worked on her website. We had her build a good website. All right, started with that. After she got the website up, then it was a matter of getting this process up, the process inside of Event Finder, your sales process. You need to know how to generate sales. Let's let this thing load. So then we got this set up. So this thing pop up. So basically she bought the CRM. She implemented this pipeline here. She said, okay, incoming, questions, quote, contract, close. She had her pipeline, and then she started implementing the actual prospecting, the outreach part. She set up her email templates. So there's about, I don't know how many email templates there are, maybe like a little over 20, 21, I don't know how many. Basically, she took these email templates here. I'll show you this. So let's go here to do. So literally all of these email templates here, she just took all of these templates, email number 1, all these templates here, copied and pasted it into the CRM, used a system like Yesware or whatever other system she used. She used a system, and then she simply just followed the process over and over and over again, over and over and over again. And that's literally what you're doing. And then when you do it in the beginning, you're always going to do it wrong. There's no way you can start something and do it right to begin with. You can't start anything and just be a master at it. Your first anything is always going to be bad. And so in the beginning, it's like, okay, you set up your website. Your first website is probably going to suck. And then the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. And then eventually you're going to have a really good website. Then all of a sudden you set up your CRM and you set up the whole sales pipeline. Once you have the pipeline in place, you have the email templates in place, you have your sales cadence, the lead score, all that stuff in place, and eventually you're going to start contacting events. In the beginning, when you contact events, you won't really know what to say, you won't know how to pitch yourself, you won't know how to create enough curiosity in the email to get them to click on the link to the website. You won't really know what to do. And that's why you want to obviously have the mentor, where the mentor can literally show you, all right, here's what you're doing wrong, here's what you need to fix, here's how you need to have the conversation, things like that. I'm telling you guys, if you're not a Speak Pro Academy member, you don't know what you're missing out on. You don't realize the level of detail that you need to have in order to get what you want. It's not an accident that she did $30,000 in a month. It's not an accident. Nobody who makes money did it by accident. Well, maybe Kim Kardashian, but basically there's very few people who make money that did it by accident. And you have to think strategically about what it is you're doing, and it always comes down to what's going on inside of your brain, like how I mentioned in terms of she didn't see it as here's how much I'm giving, she said here's how much I'm getting. So let's see, you said, I'm still confused about the role or purpose of a platform like Yesware. Does it provide something the CRM doesn't? That's a good question. So yes, it does. Let's go to Yesware. Let's see. Oops, Yesware.com. All right, so a CRM, the CRM is basically, so think of a CRM almost like your phone, right? So your CRM is almost it's a better version of your phone to keep track of your entire process. It keeps track of everything. Actually, the phone's probably a bad description, but the CRM, it keeps track of the entire process. It lets you know where you are in your sales process. It lets you know, okay, I contacted McDonald's, and here's how many times I contacted them. Here's the conversations we had, and here's the next step that I need to engage in. That's what your CRM does. It tells you everything that you need to do, all the steps that you got to do. After you set up the steps, you got to set up the steps, by the way. So the CRM is just the overall strategy. Some CRMs most CRMs like Base CRM, Yesware, Base CRM, Salesforce, Pipedrive, some CRMs like those have a place where you can insert email templates into those. But they weren't built for email templates. Like they weren't built for outreach. Yesware, on the other hand, is actually built to reach out to whoever you want to reach out to. And so they have all sorts of cool things that you can actually see. So like here they say, know what happened after you click send. So this is where you get to see the email open and reply rates, whether they clicked on the links. If you have any attachments, you can see all that. So you can see all sorts of stuff. They also have things like you can automate the outreach here. So like here, imagine you take these email templates. So you got all these email templates, right? Let's do this. So you have email number 1. You set up email number 1 inside of Yesware, okay? And then if they don't respond, it automatically follows up with the follow-up, right? And if they don't respond to that, it automatically follows up, right? And so it automatically does it. That's what Yesware is doing. A CRM will not do that. Your CRM will not automatically do that, because a CRM isn't built for that. So that's why they won't do it. And so like little things like that, it just does more. And then the actual, the actual reporting is it's better. So like inside of, let's say, Base CRM or Pipedrive, it'll tell you whether or not they open the email. And does it tell you if they clicked? I think it'll tell you if they clicked, if you like upgrade to a different version or something. But it'll tell you if they definitely open the email. But the problem with the CRMs is that, once again, they weren't built for outreach. So if I send out an email to you, so I send you an email, and I open it up inside of the CRM, it will show it as an opened email despite you not having opened it. All Base CRM sees, and all a CRM sees, is that the email was opened. Whether it was opened by me, whether it was opened by you. So it's the reporting is off. It's not like the right reporting. So I'm telling you, like Yesware, and there's like lots of different versions of it. There's alternatives to Yesware. There's many different versions. Yesware, Streak, all sorts of different things. But basically they were built to do outreach, which makes you more effective. So here's what happens if all you do is you have a CRM. Here's what happens. Let's say you find 100 events. It's going to take you really long to actually contact those events. Like you're going to have to sit there and send an email one by one. Whereas something like Yesware, you send an email to all 100 instantly, and then bam, it goes through this whole process. Did they respond to you? Did they not respond to you? Here, send this out. If they did respond, send this out. If they didn't respond, it goes through this whole process. It makes you 1,000,000 times more efficient with what it is you're doing. And there is a member inside Speak Pro Academy. She just absolutely kills it with sending out the emails. Like she was actually she was in the top 5% inside of Pipedrive. So Pipedrive is another CRM. She was the top 5% inside of Pipedrive in terms of like level of activity, because she combined Yesware with the CRM. And so you just got to think in terms of just being more efficient. So let's see, you said, which CRM do you use? I use Base CRM, but it doesn't really matter what CRM you use. It's kind of like a phone. Like once again, whether you have an iPhone, an Android, iPhone, Samsung, Galaxy S9, the Red Hydrogen One phone, it doesn't really matter what phone you use. It's just the person using it. So it's like, once again, I mean, if I take an iPhone, I can use an iPhone, I can generate revenue from it. But if you take some random person off the street, you give them 10 iPhones, give them an iPhone, Samsung Galaxy S9, and a Red Hydrogen One phone, give him all those phones, amazing phones, he still won't be able to generate revenue from it because he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to do anything. So a CRM, it doesn't matter what CRM you use. It absolutely doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is, do you know how to use it? It's just like, take a camera, for instance, right? If you take a camera and you give that camera, a camcorder, to a regular person, and you say, all right, here's a camcorder, the red camera, film a video. They'll film a horrible video. Give that same camcorder to Steven Spielberg or Christopher Nolan. Give them the camcorder, and they'll create an amazing movie. And so it doesn't matter what CRM you use. It's just, do you use it? Do you know how to use it? That's what you have to really focus on. All right. So you said basically, Yesware is an interactive CRM. No, Yesware is not a CRM. So a CRM, like once again, a CRM is just it's basically your overall strategy. A CRM is basically Yeah, Yesware is not a CRM at all. It's all Yesware is in similar tools is just for you sending out emails. That's all it is. It's just for you to be more efficient with how you send out the emails. That's all that is. A CRM, it gives you the grand scheme of things. You get to see everything that you're doing. You get to see the process that you're walking through. You get to see like, all right, did I send out an email to this person or did I not? What did I say to this person? All right, well, it gives you all the details in terms of the overall. It shows you where you are with each lead that you've generated. That's the CRM. All Yesware is just you reaching out to people. That's all it is. All right. So he said, I use HubSpot sales and it has email sequences. So I thought that's what it was providing. All right. Yeah. And then you do want to be very careful about companies that are more focused on inbound versus outbound. So it's one of the reasons why I use ActiveCampaign for inbound. So whenever you guys get emails from me, whenever you see anything about sign up to the email list, all that stuff I use with ActiveCampaign. ActiveCampaign, in fact, let me show you guys. Let's see, where's ActiveCampaign.com? So ActiveCampaign actually does have a CRM. Let's see. So here's the thing. So look, here's email marketing. This is where I'm sending out all the emails and stuff. Then they actually do have a CRM, right? So ActiveCampaign, they're like, hey, here's our CRM that you can use. And I took a look at it because I was thinking, okay, if they have a CRM in here, I could just get rid of base CRM and everything can be inside of ActiveCampaign because I love ActiveCampaign when it comes to inbound marketing. But the more I actually looked at it, the more I realized because these guys are focused on inbound marketing, they don't understand outbound. They don't understand outreach. So little things like when you send an outreach email to somebody, they'll have an unsubscribe link at the bottom. Makes 0 cents. 0 cents. You will hands down never get any replies if you do that. They don't understand cold emails, cold outreach. And so that's why they built their system the way they built it. They built it for inbound marketing. Same with something like HubSpot. I think HubSpot actually understands outbound a lot better. I haven't really looked into their stuff, but they do understand outbound a lot better because they actually do outbound, which is, it's kind of funny because HubSpot is known for inbound marketing. That's pretty much their entire business. But in order for them to get business, they actually do a lot of outreach. They do a lot of outbound marketing. And that's probably why HubSpot is probably better at reaching out to people and building systems that reach out to people versus other companies like ActiveCampaign. ActiveCampaign, great for inbound, horrible for outbound. And so you just want to make sure that you're using the right tools for the right things. Like remember earlier where I mentioned Facebook ads? Facebook ads, it's great if you're building an email list. It's great if you're building a brand, producing content, having people say, hey, sign up, get this lead magnet, whatever. It's great for that. It's not good at all if you're trying to get hired as a speaker for motivational gigs. You don't want to do any Facebook ads if you're trying to get hired for gigs, because that's just you're using you're using the wrong thing, right? And that's all it is. So you just got to make sure you're using the right thing for the right outcome that you want. So you said, can the 100 emails send out at the same time still customized for the events names? Yeah, exactly. So that's exactly what something like Yesware does, to where it's like merge tags. So what you do is you say hi, and then it says insert first name, and then it'll just insert their first name automatically. And actually here, so it'll literally look like here's the email template. So the email says, hi, name, I saw your, then event name, I saw your McDonald's event, and I was wondering who hires the main keynote presenter. So this is what it will look like inside of Yesware, except, like here, it will literally say like name, right? And so it would automatically insert the name of whoever you're talking to. It would say, hi, Barbara, I saw your McDonald's event, and that's what it would do to all 100 people. All right, so it would automatically do that. All right, so that way you can just customize stuff. So what about Infusionsoft? I don't really use Infusionsoft, but I do know Infusionsoft is built more for inbound marketing. Even though they say, once again, everyone says they can do outbound. Same with ActiveCampaign. They say they can do outbound, but then there's the limitations and all sorts of limitations on it. I think Infusionsoft you can technically do outbound, but But once again, if you're going to do outbound, it's better to actually use tools that were literally built for outbound, just because of the level of detail that they go into in order to actually do the outbound. So if you have, it's like anything. Who would you rather work with? The guy who literally studies basketball 24/7 and practices it 24/7, or the guy who studies basketball, football, tennis, boxing, and rugby? Like, which one would you rather go with if you're trying to learn how to get really good at basketball? You want to go with the guy who literally, that's all he does 24/7. There's nothing else he does. The same goes with something like Yesware. That's all they do is outreach. All they do. Whereas in Infusionsoft, they do everything. They're like, all right, we're going to do inbound. We're going to have the sales funnels. We're going to have outreach. We're going to have all. And so they're a jack of all trades and a master of none. That's why a lot of people say Confusionsoft and all that sort of stuff. Actually, I think it was Russell Brunson who came up with Confusionsoft. That's what I heard through the grapevines. Just a brilliant marketing ploy on his part, just to get people to move away from Infusionsoft to his ClickFunnels thing, which, hands down, it's absolutely brilliant what he did. But it's like what Trump did when he was running for presidency, where he branded Crooked Hillary, Lying Ted, and all that. Like, it was absolutely brilliant the way he branded people. And literally Russell Brunson did the same thing with Infusionsoft. He's like, it's Confusionsoft. Like, you get confused when you go in there. You have no idea how to use it. Come to our thing. It's way easier. And hands down, it was absolutely brilliant. But yeah, like I said, Infusionsoft, for as much as they cost, there's really no reason to use them. There's no reason. I don't see any reason to use Infusionsoft. With as much as they charge, you can just go get a CRM like Salesforce or Base, whatever, go get Yesware, connect the two, and then bam, you build $1 million business with those two. And that's it. All right, so we are not going to be doing a Facebook Live tomorrow because I got an event tomorrow. We're going to start again on Monday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Any other final questions before we are done for today? Any final questions? I'll wait a few seconds for people to ask anything. But once again, I want to stress the importance of basically what Betsy did in order to actually hit that $30,000 in a month. One, I'm telling you, the mindset that she had wasn't how much am I going to spend? It was how much am I going to make? If she would have focused on, I'm going to spend $2,000 on this program, she wouldn't have made $30,000 in a month as a speaker. And so you got to understand the huge shift in the mindset that she had. After she probably already had that mindset to begin with, which is why she invested in it. After she invested, we focused on her website, get the website up. We focused on the sales process. Then it's a matter of the details with things like Yesware, the email templates, the sales cadence, the lead score. It's a matter of details and reaching out. And then, of course, she did a lot of the work. I can't stress the work enough. I thought about this a lot. Like, I can't tell you how much I struggled with, should I just tell people like what most gurus do? Because I know it generates sales. I was like, should I just tell people like, hey, 3 easy steps and then you're going to just get booked on stages? Like, should I do that? Because I'm telling you, I thought about this a lot because I know it generates way more sales in programs. Like, when you tell people it's really easy to do, all you got to do is a few steps and it's really easy and then you're going to see results. I thought about that a lot, but I realized, like, hey, once again, it comes back to what do I wish someone would have told me when I was starting out? I wish someone would have told me the truth. And the truth is, it will take you years to get to where you want to be, especially if you don't have someone helping you get there. That's just the simple truth. And so that's why you got to invest in a thing like Speak Pro Academy, because it will take you got to think years, especially when you're doing any type of business. Even if you're doing inbound marketing, if you're like building the brand and doing funnels and creating content and all that, this is where a lot of people get confused, because when you hear all this stuff with building a brand, creating content, people for some reason think that they can create content and then in a month or two, they're now Gary Vaynerchuk. What they don't understand is that even with creating content, if anything, it's going to take you longer than a year or 2 years because everybody's doing it. Everybody's creating content. Everybody and their mama's creating content. So there's so much competition out there with it. And so you got to understand it's going to take you years to get to where you want to be, especially if you don't have someone helping you get there. And so if you're not a Speak Pro Academy member, you got to join, because that's what we do. We take people like Betsy and how she literally said, let me show you guys that again. She literally said she was doing, let's go back. She was doing the $30,000 a year as a speaker, and then we got her to a point where she hit her first $30,000 in a month as a speaker. And it's simply because it's just a matter of putting in the right systems and then executing on those systems. And I want to stress the importance of the work that you have to do. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do what Betsy did, $30,000 in a month, or like what Maggie did. You're not going to get your third gig in like 3 weeks. I think Maggie, she joined and then got like 3 gigs within a couple weeks. And then like Will just killed it. Same with Bob. Like, you're not going to do what these guys are doing just by kind of implementing a little bit. I'm telling you, all these people, Betsy, Maggie, Will, all of them, Bob, all of them, they implement. They implement like crazy. And you got to think about, imagine there's 1 million steps that you have to take to get to where you want to be. 1 million steps. And the faster you take those steps, the faster you're going to get to the end. And so if you sit there and you say, I'm only going to work on this for 30 minutes a day, that means you're taking not even half a step a day. So think about how long it's going to take you to get your 1 million steps in. Right? So you got to execute really fast. You got to keep going, keep moving, because it's going to take you longer than you think to get to where you want to be. All right? Cool. So we are good to go for today. I will see you guys Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So we won't be doing a Facebook Live tomorrow. We're going to be doing one Monday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Thanks, everybody, for showing up. I'll see you Monday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Take care, everybody.